We've got a couple little friends here joining us today because, oh, and that's my dog just chugging water in the background, ignore that. Yeah, I started bleeding today, I'm really tired, and I figured this is the optimal time to obviously make a YouTube video. I really want this channel to feel like it encompasses the fullness of who I am rather than just cherry picking certain aspects, like the aspects that seem professional, that look good. My dog's gonna be walking around in the background, so hopefully you're cool with that. He just had his dinner and he's feeling really good. Are you getting your tail? Hey. Are you getting your tail? That's good. Yeah. I think he's a bit embarrassed. He's like, you weren't supposed to see that. Anyways, as someone who professionally works in the spaces of, what do I even call it? I mean, spiritual development and working as a guide and someone who is supporting women through their own creative process and sort of like self-discovery, self-reclamation, all of that. It's interesting, like there's this kind of pressure that I put on myself to show up online in a more like professional mentor type way. And that is one aspect, obviously, of me and the work that I do. And then also, like, there's all these other aspects. And so much of what I work with other women around is like embracing your wholeness and the shadows and the messiness and the imperfections and the flaws. And that's what makes us so powerful and interesting. And so I'm really kind of using this platform as a way to experiment and build community and connect with like-minded people who are interested in what I'm interested in, and also to push myself to just show up in my fullness, in my rawness, in my flawed states when I'm like breaking out and don't feel like putting makeup on to cover it up, and I'm in my t-shirt and like I'm just on my period, you know, feeling some type of way. And I feel like that's so important. I feel like a lot of the work that I do with women is around creative reclamation, and woven into that, it always seems to come back to visibility and like owning our voice, owning our ability to be seen, to show up, to take up space, and especially for us women to feel worthy of taking up space and being seen and sharing when we maybe don't feel like we're at our best for whatever reason, whether like physically you're breaking out, you're on your period, you're going through some shit in your life, you didn't sleep well, like you're in an argument with somebody that you love, whatever the case may be. I think there's so much pressure on us to, and I'm only speaking to the experience of women because I am a woman, so I don't know, like I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm curious like what your experience is, so like leave a comment and let's have a conversation about it. But yeah, from the female perspective, there's so much pressure to always kind of have your shit together and to present yourself in a certain way. I really hope that my dog running around is making you happy because it makes me happy every single time I see his face. And I think for me, I'm just so exhausted by that and all of the pressures and expectations that are placed on women societally, all of the different ways we're told we need to show up or we can't show up unless XYZ, we're not worthy to take up space unless whatever the case. I'm just done with that. And I think showing up here, it may seem silly, it may seem small to some people, but showing up here just in my realness, in my messiness, it feels like a tiny rebellion against that to say, actually, no, I'm going to reclaim my power in this way and choose like when I authentically want to show up, regardless of anything else. That's when I'm going to show up. That's when I'm going to create. That's when I'm going to share. And I don't know, I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, and kind of my whole journey with visibility and being seen, and it's it's a layered it's a layered thing. There are many levels I feel like I have gone through over the last however many years, and I know that there's also so much more. That's the interesting part about being in these spaces of just being in deeper relationship with the self and in devotion to something greater than just you. There's always so much more. There's always so much more depth. I just feel like it's important, especially in this day and age when, you know, there's so much nonsense online and there's so much curation when it comes to what people are posting online and how they're showing up and what they're choosing to share. It can just start to feel like a Black Mirror episode, like very quickly. I guess I just want to have this conversation and speak to my fellow artists and creatives and those of us who desire to share and to like show up in some way and create some kind of impact, build a community. Yeah, just share in some way your art, your creations, your wisdom, your experiences, and to just remind all of us that it's important to push back against these societal narratives that are constantly trying to convince us like we're not ready to show up, we're not ready to share for some reason. There's like more we need to know, or we're not attractive enough, or we're not an authority yet, whatever that means. And it's like, well, you become an authority by practicing, by putting yourself out there, by speaking. You get good at something by doing it over and over and over. And this is what makes me sad about today's culture. It seems like there's like a lot of cultural groupthink around these ideas of like being cringe and sort of this like rhetoric around needing to conform and be cool and just sort of be detached and like not try very hard at anything. I hate that. And I think so many people hate that because that doesn't feel expansive in any way. It feels so stifling and crushing to the human spirit and the creative spirit, which in my opinion, like I think we're all creative and I think we're all here to create our lives and use our creative energy to birth whatever we feel most called to create, and that's going to look so different for everybody. But the fact that that's being stifled and feels like a lot of younger generations are being convinced that they shouldn't even try, and that makes me really sad. But at the same time, that's why we need these spaces and these conversations and people who are willing to try and to just show up. Let's just get back to creating from a messy, imperfect space and just putting the things out there. Just putting the things out there, letting them be imperfect. Let yourself be a beginner at something. Let yourself suck at the beginning and trust that the more you do it, you're going to hone and refine that skill. And anyone who has become great at something, anyone who has reached the top of their industry, they all say the same thing, that the biggest differentiator between them and everybody else who didn't make it there was that they were consistent. They didn't give up. We hear that and it sounds, you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It kind of loses its significance because we hear that advice so often. But when you actually really sit and think about what that truly means and what that really requires of you, like to stay consistent through all the ups and downs, you're going to be required to lean in even more when you start to feel really uncomfortable because you're watching yourself back on video and you're critiquing every little thing, or you're listening to the podcast you made and you're like, wow, I hate the sound of my voice, or what am I even talking about? Who even cares what I have to say? Or you're putting your artwork out there for the first time and it's crickets and nobody seems to care, or you put your book out into the world and you sell a few copies and that's it. Like there are so many points along the creative journey and the journey of the artist and the entrepreneur and like all of us who are just trying to do something different with our lives and like authentic to us. There are so many points along that adventure that are going to test your devotion. There are going to be so many moments of doubt and fear, and you know, if you're on a path like this, I've heard so many entrepreneurs say that entrepreneurship is one of the fastest pathways to personal development and personal growth. And I couldn't agree with that more because it is an initiation over and over and over into where am I being inauthentic? Where am I out of integrity? Where am I chasing something for the wrong reason? Where do I still not believe in myself? Where am I still comparing myself to other people? Where am I still valuing other people's opinions above my own? Like every single thing that you could be faced with, every single thing, every single shadow that you have sort of swept under the rug, entrepreneurship, being an artist, creating like all of these things, it's like holding up a mirror to yourself where everything gets revealed. And it's quite intimidating. It can be very overwhelming, but it's so worth it to me because as a creative person, as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as someone who like has this greater mission that I'm devoted to, that I'm like, I feel like this is why I was put on earth in this moment in time, is to do the work that I'm doing. As challenging as it is at times, I'm not just deeply devoted to my mission in my business and my body of work and the things I want to create, I'm also devoted to living my life as an artist. And to me, that means creating my life, or co-creating my life rather. By co-creating, I mean like working together with the forces of nature, with the forces of the universe, to mold and shape my world into something beautiful and inspiring and aligned with my soul. And also living with richness and depth and a certain grit that I feel like artists have and almost yearn for. I think as artists of life, we're hungry for experience. I can appreciate as an artist of life that I just want to experience all that I can, even the uncomfortable, painful aspects of life. It's like there's something within me that drives me forward, that maybe it's my Venus and Pisces in the 8th house, I don't know, but there's this deep motivation that moves me forward and pushes myself outside of my comfort zone over and over and over, because I have this hunger and this yearning for depth and experience and expansion, like through those experiences being able to learn and grow and expand who I am as a person and who I am beyond this human self. There's something innate within me that I've always felt connected to. And I think that's something that a lot of us artists and creatives and entrepreneurs can relate to. I don't know, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments like if any of this is making sense. But I know it can't just be me who feels this way. And I don't know if you maybe have a better way of explaining it or a different way that you think about it, but there's something innate within us that we will not just settle for a surface level life. Sometimes I look around at people I've known or people I still know who seem to genuinely be pretty satisfied with, you know, like a 9 to 5 job and coming home and watching some Netflix and going to bed, waking up the next day, doing the same thing, and then like, you know, whatever on the weekends, going out on the weekends, going to brunch, like just kind of starting all over again. And like, there's nothing wrong with that if that genuinely makes you happy. Truly, there isn't. But I definitely have moments where I look at people like that and I'm almost like envious in a way, because I'm like, why am I not satisfied with that? Like, why isn't that enough for me? And at the same time, like, I also don't want that to be enough for me, because I know that there's so much more to experience in life that feels important to me based on my value system, whereas someone else might value other things, and that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful to be able to hold what you value while also respecting what other people value, even if you don't understand it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think there's something innate within us artists where we crave something different, something unique. We crave a certain variety. Life has to feel like it has texture and flavor. Like, there needs to be a spice added and like sprinkled into our lives. That's that inspiration that allows us to keep creating. I don't know. I think this is just one of my rambly, like, creative artist brain chats, which I think I'll probably do here and there as I'm feeling it, in between my more like formal videos. They're not even formal, but certain videos I sit down, I have a specific intention, I have my notes, and I'm more like teaching, whereas this is just me speaking out loud, talking about things I've been thinking about, trying to kind of make sense of certain things out loud and see if anybody else out there feels the same way or has any thoughts. If you're in a space where you are struggling with showing up and creating and sharing yourself, and you're struggling with visibility, and you have all of these stories coming up around basically delaying your visibility, delaying putting yourself out there for whatever reason, telling yourself you're not ready, telling yourself you need something to happen, or whatever the case may be before you show up, can we just put that aside? Can we just like close that book and put it back on the shelf and choose in this moment to claim that you are ready to start showing up, and to let it be messy, to let it be imperfect, to let it even just like not make sense to anybody else. Especially as artists, like, we're not meant to always be understood. We're actually meant to show up, to share our art authentically, to trigger people, to confuse people, to seemingly be a paradox, and to stretch and expand the way people think about things and interact with their world. That is the role of the artist. Like, we're not just here to make beautiful things. We're here to shape the culture and inspire people into thinking about things in a new way, or even anger people into taking some kind of action. And I try to remind myself that how people respond to me and how I'm showing up and what I am putting out into the world, what I'm creating, it's not really any of my business. And I think that's one of the hardest parts about putting yourself and your work out there, is like that non-attachment to how other people receive it. The faster we can wrap our minds around that as artists and accept people are going to have all kinds of different perceptions when it comes to you and your work and what you're sharing. You can't possibly control how people are going to receive what you share and what you create. That's actually not the point. That's actually doing yourself, your art, and everybody else a disservice by trying to control their perception. Your art is meant to be an alchemical tool, an alchemical initiator for other people based on where it meets them in that moment, and how they interact with it because of their perception, their experience, where they're coming from. And by you trying to control that process, it completely disrupts that. It disrupts the natural way that things need to flow. I believe in that process there's a force much greater than any of us at play that is sort of I don't know. It's like this universal intelligence that is weaving all of this together and connecting people with the art and the voices and the people and the energies they need in that moment. And sometimes what you need in the moment is uncomfortable and challenging and confronting. Creating art and sharing your art isn't always meant to feel good, and neither is receiving art and consuming art. It's not always meant to be this pleasant, beautiful experience. It's meant to change the world. It's meant to create some kind of emotional response that alters our brains on a chemical level, that changes the way we are living and what we view as possible. That's what you're here to do. That's what I'm here to do. So let's fucking do it. Like, why are we keeping ourselves small and holding ourselves back, convincing ourselves we're not ready or the thing has to be perfect before we start showing up? Like, my videos are nowhere near as perfect. Like, trust me, I have battled with perfectionism for so much of my life, and it's such a waste of time and energy. And you do have to just reach a point, a fuck it moment, where you're like, fuck it, I don't care. People can watch these videos and think, oh my god, what a mess, or she's just rambling, or I can't believe she shows up on camera looking like that, or whatever. Who cares? The point is I'm here showing up. That's more than most people can say. I'm just saying. How many people, like, just walking down the street, how many average people you would run into would actually feel genuinely comfortable making a video of themselves, editing it, putting it out on the internet for anybody to see? Most people, like, that is terrifying to them, just thinking about doing that. Most people can't even, like, hear the sound of their own voice, let alone watch a video of themselves back and then put it on the internet. So if you're doing these things, and it doesn't have to be making videos, it could be any other creative expression or putting yourself out there in some way, but if you're doing anything like that, you are so far ahead already. So I say this to you as much as I am saying this to myself, but you're here to change the fucking world, and the only thing standing in your way is you. This is you versus you, baby. It's me versus me. When it comes to being an artist, an entrepreneur, whatever, this is an internal battle. And it's like, is the fear gonna win, or is your soul going to win? Your soul desires, your yearning for expansion and growth, and to like truly own and step into the fullness that is you and what you came to share with this world. That's what it comes down to. It's a choice in every single moment. And I like to ask myself, who is running the show right now? Is it my fear? Is it my soul? Because it's one or the other. It can't be both. It can't be both. So which one is it? So anyways, I hope that this was whatever it needed to be for you. If you're still here listening, I really appreciate you. If you want to stick around for future videos, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let's start some conversations around this. I would love to hear what your creative journey has been like, what you're struggling with, what you're moving through. Just, we need each other, especially when we're carving out our own path in life and can feel so misunderstood by the people around us. And just, we're out here working against a system that wants to keep us down every single day. We're out here doing the Lord's work. I mean that in the like least religious way possible, but we truly are out here like doing some badass shit. And so I just want you to remember that, and I want us to be in community and feel like we can support each other and like build each other up. Because if you're still here listening, we speak the same language. Anyways, thanks for being here. I'll see you soon in a future video. They're not always going to be so random and ranty, but sometimes they will be. I'm sending you all the best in your creative journey, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.